Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to talk about something that happened to me and it has not been fun, but it is something that I think it's just a great example of why I teach and share, the way to do things and why you should do certain things over other things. It is all things that we teach inside my Furniture Flipping Academy. It's just so important. And this, what happened to me, is exactly the reason why. So at the time that I am recording this, my Facebook page, so not my personal account, but my Facebook page for My Creative Days was hacked. We have all the two-factor authentication and all the things set up on my page, but it was still hacked. So there is your first lesson. Number one, make sure you have the two-factor turned on. You go through all of the steps to just make sure that your account is as secure as possible, but this stuff still happens. And so what happened was, as soon as it was hacked, one of my team members messaged me and she was like, "Hey, did you get this message?" And I was like, "What is that?" So I opened my email and I started getting a lot of emails and I'm like, "Yeah, this isn't good." And she's like, "Yep, I think we've been hacked." So number one, what happened was they removed me as an admin on my page. So still as of now, am I going into my second week of this? So yes, so I have been removed as an admin. So that means my page is still up and it is still, you can go find it right now. But I'm hoping by the time this podcast goes out, this is all resolved and everything's back to normal. But as I'm in the middle of it, I think it's a good time for me to record this, and so that you can really, it's fresh in my mind. I'm frustrated as heck about it, and so it's just a good time for me to record this and just help you so this doesn't happen. So I was removed as an admin on my page. So my page is still up and running. You can still go see it, but I can't schedule. I can't comment. I can't run my groups that are inside, the Facebook from my Creative Days, page. I have no admin role. Does that make sense? So they removed me from that. The hackers did, or when they hacked, this is what happened. My VA that helps me out, her account was suspended because of suspicious activity on my page, and she is tied in with that page, which is another two-factor step to kind of make your account safe. Then they started running ads on my account. So they're starting to say, "Hey, let's start running ads." And so that's money. So they started running ads. So the first thing I did right away was I got onto, if you are running a business, let me kind of stop here. Number one, if you are running a business, I will always encourage you to have a social media presence. I don't care if you start out with one, or actually I do. If you are starting out, I always say start with one that you really like to browse just on your own and then build up from there. But you definitely have to have a social media presence. That's just the world we're in right now. Every business has a social media presence. And so I definitely encourage it. But you need to know the nature of the beast and, the ins and outs of it going into it. And this is just part of it. And so the first thing I did was I jumped on my Meta support. And so I would tell you to do this as well. If you have a business account, if you have a business, definitely pay the $14.99 a month to have that Meta verified on your Instagram, Facebook, and all of that, because then you actually have access to support. You actually can talk to people. You actually have a contact, an email, those kinds of things. Now, is it fast? No. Do I wish that this was done today? Yes, but I'll get to that later. But so that's initially what I did. So if you already have that, if this happens to you, that's what I would tell you to do. So with all of this, I'm trying to always watch my words because I don't want to put it. It's been a nightmare and it's been super frustrating, but it can be a lot worse. So as soon as we started reaching out, the ad stopped. The hacker was taken off my page. But now they're in a full-on investigation, and I have, they keep saying, oh, you'll hear from us in 24 to 48 hours. But I didn't hear anything for 24 to 48 hours. And so if you know me, so initially when this happens, I was like in freak out mode. And then it was kind of like, it's out of my control. I've done what I can do. But when they tell me 24 to 48 hours and I haven't received an email, like every 2 days, then I would just check back in with my chat in the Meta Verified on your Instagram app and just keep going through the whole process again. And so I've kind of got to the point now where it's like, they're like, you don't have to keep doing this. It's in a full investigation. So that's kind of what I want to talk about next. So they really are investigating it. And it's really not, this happened today, tomorrow you'll have your access back or whatever. They really need to make sure that they investigate it, figure out what happened, figure out, just all the things, which I am so grateful for. But again, it's like, I just kept feeling like I'm just a little peon, I have 250,000 people over on my Facebook page that, I love every audience I have, it's like family over there. It's like friends that you've had forever. And so to just not have access to that and to them, it's just frustrating. And so another thing about me is I don't have patience, and it's something I need to work on. And so I really do, like times like these when I don't have control over it, which is another issue of mine. I didn't know we'd go through all my issues that I have through this podcast, but as I'm talking about it, it's like, wait a minute, patience, I don't have control, like all these things, freak outs. Yes. Okay. This is all me. So anyway, I don't have control over it. So I can do what I can do, but that's all I can do. And so after so I've been in contact with them, and now I'm just kind of in waiting mode. And my VA that's attached to my account, her account has been suspended. So she can't even get in there and, work on that end of it either. So it's just, I'm thankful that my page is still there. People can still find it. So they don't understand. See, like right now I can't get in. I can get in as my personal page, which I never use. I do not use any personal social media, but I can't like make a post in there. Does that make sense? So I can't like make an announcement. I don't know. I may have to have my mom or have to have Matt. But see, they don't have access to my page. They're not an admin, so they can't either. So as I'm talking this through, it's like, so that's just not going to work. So I just have to have patience. So here's the thing that I want to, well, first of all, I kind of wanted to tell you the steps I've taken, like what's happened so far. And kind of, if this ever happens to you, just kind of what you should and what you shouldn't do. So what I want to reiterate and what I want to really, bring home and make you understand in this podcast, and it's something that inside my Furniture Flipping Academy, for all of our students that go through it, we really make these things easy, and we really want to hone in on the importance of this. And we help them through this because, sometimes it's like, wait, what? How do I do this? Well, we show you how. But you really, if you have any business, if you have any social media page for your business, which you definitely should, I just want you to know you do not own any of that, which is, again, I'm going to bring back the nature of the beast, right? Like it's amazing when it's working well, and it's frustrating though, like the algorithms change all the time. But that's again, the nature of the beast, right? It's free marketing, it's free advertising, it's free, obviously you have to do a lot of work on those pages, but yet it's kind of the game you need to play because that's where everybody is. Your customers are on social media. Your customers are on YouTube. Your customers are on Pinterest. Your customers are on, social media, whatever that is, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you choose. So you definitely need to have that, but you do need to understand the nature of the beast. And you do need to understand you do not own any of those. It doesn't matter that it's your account, you set it up, your name's behind it. It doesn't matter. You don't own them, and they can get hacked. They could decide tomorrow that Facebook is no longer and you would have no say in it. They could decide that Instagram isn't just not working anymore and take it down tomorrow. Same with TikTok, same with Pinterest, same with YouTube. Like all of those things could happen, tomorrow, next month, next year. And so I highly recommend, I mean, this is a have to. You cannot put all your eggs into the social media basket. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So you definitely need to find those avenues and find those, what am I trying to say, ways that you do own, that you do have control over. And number 1 is an email list. Number 2 is a website, if you wanted to start a website. So both are very important. The email list is the one I wish I would have listened to a lot earlier and paid more attention to, because that is the most important. So those are 2 things that you have full control over. If somebody's on your email list, nobody can take that away from you. Your website, it's all your content. It's all, things that you're putting out there. You control all of that. You pay for the platform, you pay for the website. That is all what you control. And so I would you need to do that. Like you need to put that on your list this week. Like you need to start it. And like I said, inside the Furniture Flipping Academy, when you hear email lists, especially when I first started, you will hear things like an opt-in, a freebie, how to get them on your email list. It's so easy to do. We walk you through it inside the Furniture Flipping Academy. We give you ideas inside the Furniture Flipping Academy to make it super simple. But you definitely need to find those things to get people on your email list. And you need to do those things and offer those things to get them on your email list. Another thing that we teach inside the Academy is scheduling ahead on your platforms. And so that is something like right now I am recording this in the middle of March, and I am scheduled out on my Facebook page through the middle of April, I want to say. And so like inside the Academy, we give you an entire year's of posts that you can post for an entire year. You can't schedule that far in advance on Facebook and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is you can schedule out a month in advance, a half a month, a couple weeks, however you want to do it. But we did all the work for you. So we've got that entire year planned for you. But it's important, again, not only if your account gets hacked, but like we're dealing with right now, Matt just got a knee replacement surgery a little over a week ago. And we both underestimated what this was going to look like afterwards. And so I have not been able to sit down at my normal time for like a full day and get work done. And so being scheduled ahead for, the different platforms and the different things, I was able to take off some time and be, right by his side as he needed things and all of that. So it's not just for being hacked, but life happens. Let's just be honest. This has happened to me more often than not, where it was like I needed to take off, or not even take fully off, but like I just couldn't give it my, whatever it is, 6 hours, 4 hours that I usually do, whatever, depending on the day. I couldn't give that. And so, but I had all these things scheduled in place that I didn't have to worry about those things. So it's definitely some things to think about. This just happened to me. I wanted to share my story, what's worked, what hasn't worked, where I am in the process, how it happened, how I found out it happened, the steps I'm taking to get everything back, the responses I've gotten from, Meta and what they're saying they're doing. But then also the main reason for this podcast is, again, to just tell you, you do not own any of your social media platforms, accounts, audiences there, none of them. Please start an email list. Please start a website. Like right now, we are still emailing, everybody that's on our list. They're still getting an email. We are still able to contact them. And so it's just so important to build those lists. And if a website's something you have thought about, I would definitely encourage that as well. Start them both at the same time. I wish, like I said, an email list was something I took a lot more serious and put more weight into it a lot earlier than I did the social media. I didn't understand back then. Now I do, and I teach to anybody that asks, or anybody, like I said, inside the academy, an email list. Start it today. Start it today. It does not have to be perfect. It has to be done. It's never going to be perfect, right? Done is better than perfect any day, all day. So just remember that. But like I said, hopefully by the time you are hearing this podcast, everything is back to normal. I have admin roles back on my page, and I'm able to schedule content and, post in there and do all the things like I normally do. But I just had to share this with you, and hopefully this helps somebody out there, or it encourages somebody that's been thinking about these other avenues, an email list, a website, and all the things. I hope this helps. So as always, if you found it helpful, share this podcast with somebody else that would find it helpful. I always appreciate it when you share the podcast. If you would like to, if there's a subject or a question you have that you would like to hear on the podcast, email me, Lindsay@mycreativedays.com. Reach out to me on Instagram @mycreativedays. I would love to hear from you. I love the questions. I love coming on here and answering your questions. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.